So hey guys, we are going to analyze the data set of a Zomato. So we are performing the feature engineering, exploratory data analysis, and we'll try to avoid the outliers or clean the data as much as we can, so the analysis can be make perfect results on the basis of the data. So in this video we are dealing with the outliers, and we'll see how to analyze the data in different aspects, like by the visualization, by the different commands on this data. So let's dive in. Back to the analyst lens. So we are starting our first video of the exploratory data analysis part. So in this video we are going to work on the Zomato dataset. So in the Zomato dataset we will perform some exploratory data analysis techniques in order to identify the outliers, missing values, and clean the data in order to perform the analysis on these data. So the first, we need to have some certain libraries in order to perform EDA. So we just import numpy as np, pandas as pd, and for visualization we will import matplotlib, import matplotlib.pyplot as plt. We can also import cbon here. Import so these are some of the libraries, like numpy for the numerical computation, pandas is for the importing the data, matplotlib for the visualization, and cbon is also for the visualization. So these are some of the certain libraries we need to install, we need to import for the EDA. So just import. So as we can see, the libraries are successfully imported. So the next step is to import the data set. So for this we need to name a data set. I will give it name df and pass a command that is pd dot read underscore csv, and in these inverted commas we need to mention the path of the file where it's stored. So I just copied the part of the file and paste it here. See that the data is completely imported. So just we type the command df dot head in order to see the first 5 rows of the columns. As you can see here, the first 5 rows of the column, so the columns are restaurant id, restaurant name, and all. We already discussed it earlier. So the next step, in order to analyze the data, we will just type a command that is df dot info. So that this command df.info will give the basic or the information about the data, like whether the data type of the column, and is there any null values in the data, and all. So we can see that there is no null values in the data, like we have null values in the cuisine section of the column, and there is no other null values in the data. So we can say that the data is completely clean and all. So moving forward, we will use command df.describe in order to know more about the data. We use it command df.describe. Okay, we need to mention it brackets, and it is executed successfully. So we can see this, like here the counts mean, like we can see that the average cost of 2% will be 119 here, and the minimum value, the standard deviation, maximum value. So from this command we can analyze the data. So moving forward, we will get our columns, like what other columns we have. So here we have restaurant id column, restaurant name, aggregate rating, rating text, and all. So we need to analyze the relationship between all. So before analyzing the relationship, we need to have a clear understanding of the data. That's why we perform EDA, exploratory data analysis. So basically in EDA we just explore the data, like whether it's a categorical data, numeric data, in order to form certain assumption about the data, so that we can perform analysis on that data. So that's it about the data. And moving forward, so getting more about the data, we will just type df.shape in order to ascertain how many columns and rows we have in the data. So here we have 21 columns and 9551 entries, or we can say the rows. And also we can check for the null values by typing command that is df.isNull.sum. So here we can see that we only have 9 values which are missing in the data and which are from the cuisine section, or we can say the column. So we can just remove these by, or we can keep it like it does not affect the analysis part of the data, because we only have 9 values out of the 9551 values. So moving forward, so as we can see here that we have the country code column, like we have country code column, but we don't have any specific country name. So in the data set we have two data, like one is all about this data, and the other one is about the country and their respective code. So we need to merge that data in this data, so as we can conclude the data by country with its country specific code. So for doing this we need to import that data. So we'll just name that data like df_country. Have the second data in the Excel file, so we just type command that is pd.read_excel. we don't write it here the CSV, we just write Excel here, and here is a copied part of that data, and we run this, and as you can see it's successfully executed. We will see the data. Not hit. So we can see here that we have two columns, that is country and their respective country codes. So on the basis of the country code we can just find out which country have the transaction and all about the data. Like for example, on the basis of the country code we can conclude that in which country we have the maximum transaction in the Zomato. So getting the maximum number of transaction in the, so once we are done with this part, so we need to merge the both the data set, like we need to merge this data under the df data. So for doing this we will just name the new data set, that is df1, and write here command that both the column we need to write a command that is pd.merge, and we need to mention the file name, that is for the first it's df, and we need to merge this one. So once we are done with this we need to mention the path, like from on which we need to combine this. So on country code we need to combine this. We can go here on this one. We need to combine the country on the basis of the country code. We'll just replace this space by this one, and how is equal to left. Okay, you need to mention the curly bracket here. We'll just remove this underscore here and space, and we can see that both the columns, both the data are merged together. For seeing this, so the new dataset name is this, and we'll just type it, and here we can see that we have the country code here, and at the end we have the country. So on the basis of this we can just ascertain or estimate like which country has the highest number of the order per day and all. So df1 dot, okay, have the country dot unique it's showing that the country is not defined here. So as we can see that here, this is the number of countries we have, like we have Philippines, Brazil, United States, Australia and Turkey. So in order to see which country has the highest number of transaction in the Zomato, so we can just type a command to check this. We just type a command that is df1 dot country, and just mention the countries dot values underscore count, okay, yes. So we can see that the India is the maximum number of orders we need to have. After this we have United States and also by this we can see that the number of order or transaction happen in the country. Like for example, India is the largest country in which the transaction is happening, and on this, so by this we can explore about the data, like where the max number of transaction is going on and which the country has the minimum number of transaction. Like here we have the Canada, in which we only have 4 transactions a day. So this is all about the data, and in the next step we will just see how to visualize the relationship between these data. So moving forward, once we are done with the basic understanding of the data, like what are the columns we have, is there any unique values in the data, and the number of transaction happenings or executing in a specific countries, like here we identified that India is the country where the maximum number of transaction is going on. So once we are done with this, we can just use the group by function here in order to ascertain the cumulative effect of the data on the other variables. For example, we can use aggregate rating, rating color and rating text in order to ascertain like which country has the maximum number of rating on the certain steps. So for doing this, we will just use the group by function here. So for using it, we'll just pass a command that is df1 dot group by so we will just mention here the columns name on which we are using the group by. So first one, this we just copy paste it here. The second one is the rating color, and the third one is the rating text. So these are some of the columns on which we are performing the group by function. So and we need to mention size here. So here the command is successfully executed, and we can see that the aggregate rating like 0.0, 1.8 and the maximum rating is 4.9, and on the basis of the ratings we can ascertain the colors. Like for example, for the maximum rating 4.9, the color will be dark green and the rating will be excellent. And here the rating score, like how much, like 2, 1, 4, 8 are not rated. Like for example, these are the customer, or we can say are the entries in which there is no rating. So in order to get more information about this, we will just pass one more command, that is we will just add on in the same thing So we will do this by df1 dot group by here the aggregate rating. We'll just copy from here all and just paste it here by this, and along with the size we will just mention the reset done with this command. So we need to actually rename this one. So for renaming the command we need just put it here, reset underscore index, command it here, and now just run it. So as we can see that this one which is empty before the column name, here we named it like 0. So in the next step we will just rename it to the name of the existing columns. Like for example we just copy it and just paste it here. You can do it in the single run, like for just renaming the command we just mention the name of the command, like which name I have to give to the column specific. So for doing this we just go to the whichever name I want to give to the column. For example I want to give to the column the name that is naming this. So we'll just pass the command that is dot rename it. So you can do it in the first run like in this one, but I just doing in this. So df rename and then column is equal to the curly bracket 0 because we named it 0 before, and then so we are naming this like rating count, and just run this. Okay, so we forgot a comma somewhere. Okay, so here we just need to mention the comma in the and run it. So as you can see that we named the column from 0 to rating count. So once we are done with this, we just perform the next command. That is, before doing this we just explore the data more. Like for example here the 4.5 to 4.9 are the excellent rating, and the 4.0 to 4.4 are the good rating, and from 3.5 to 3.9 here the good, average, and the poor rating. So moving forward, just store this data and this one named it rating. You can see here that we name this particular columns rating, and we can just type df rating dot head. You can see that these are the columns which are in this. So moving forward, in order to plot or visualize these data, we actually imported the matplotlib earlier. Like here we just imported the matplotlib earlier. So we'll just type plt dot rc params, so it's kind of a plot, figure dot fig size. So these are some of the command by which we set the size of the image, and I will give it 13 by 6. So SNS dot pair. So now we are going to plot a bar plot here in order to show the relationship between the variables. So I will just put it here, the data, which is the first one is the aggregate rating. So the X will be the aggregate rating, then Y will be our rating count, will be our this one, and data will be our rating data. Be our rating. Now we are going to run this, and we can see that there is a box plot which is showing the aggregate rating against the rating count, which will be our relationship. For example, the 3.2 will be our rating count of around 500 or 600. The relationship between the aggregate rating and the rating count, as we can see that the rating which is the highest is 3.2 and 3.1 are getting the average rating count of the 500 to 600. So these are some of the measures we can take in order to visualize the relationship between the aggregate rating and the rating count by group by function. So moving forward, in order to plot some more charts, in order to explore the data and see what are the relationship between the different variables. So we are going to plot another bar plot by typing a command, that is sns dot bar plot, and same here, the aggregate rating will be same. So I will just copy this and just paste it here. So all will be same, but a little difference will be HUE will be our rating color, so that it will differentiate between the different data. So now we will run this, and as you can see here, it is like different aggregate rating are showing different colors which can differ from this. So it can be more precise as compared to this, because we can see that relationship between both the variable which are aggregate rating and on the other is rating count. So I hope this step is clear for you. Like first we just group by all the elements like group rating, rating color and rating text in order to generate a combined, or we can say aggregated rating count, by which we can just put it in the x-axis, and another one which is rating count on the y-axis, in order to show the relationship between them. As we can see, there is a slightly normal distribution between them. Like we can see that here the rating are going up and then a fall down between the relationship between the ratings. Some of the measure by which we can visualize the data, and we can just explore the data just like by merging the two data sets by a single variable, that is country code and other things. So by this way we can just explore the data and find the valuable insights out of the data. Also we can just find other things like which of the country has the maximum rating or transaction in this, like by here we just found that India is the country which is having largest transaction on the Zomato, like we have 865 and on the other hand the Canada has the least number of the transaction on the Zomato. So these are some of the useful insights we gained out of the exploratory data analysis. Hope you liked this video, and please subscribe to the channel for more useful insights. Thank you.